What's going on, everybody? Josh Callaway here with AllSooners, alongside by John Hoover, Ryan Chapman at Jones AT&T Stadium in Lubbock, Texas, where we had one last good old-fashioned OU Texas score-a-palooza shootout in Lubbock before the Sooners go to the SEC. Oklahoma loses in overtime tonight, 51-48. They fall to 6-6 to close out the first regular season of the Brent Venables era. There's so much to digest from this game. I'm going to go ahead and suggest that you already go find the post-game podcast whenever we do that to flush this full thing out. But we'll dive into what we can on the wrap. Guys, let's start off with the obvious here. Horrible loss for Oklahoma. So many of the same things that we've been saying all season. Reared their ugly head again tonight. Undisciplined, not taking advantage of opportunities. Defense really failed them all throughout the evening. The team just never felt like it got better this season. Another just gut punch of a loss.
Yeah, Josh, you said at the top, inadvertently, you said OU Texas because of the wildness of the nature of OU Texas. OU Texas Tech is even wilder. And historically speaking, they've had some crazy games. I think this one topped them all, though. 51-48. What the hell happened to this Oklahoma team? They're up 17-0. They're cruising again in the first quarter, just like last week. They're up 24-6, cruising through the second quarter, and it all goes to crap. I mean, offense went bad. Defense started giving up chunk after chunk after chunk. Field goals missed controversially in overtime or at the end, of course. It was you had a fake field goal that was a brilliantly designed play that wasn't executed. Dropped, could have been a touchdown, should have been a field goal. Came out with nothing. These plays, one little play here, one little play there, have blown up in this team's face week after week after week. They're 6-6. How did Oklahoma fall to 6-6? By inconsistent play.
Yeah, and I think what's got the fan base enraged and what's got the players not having many answers in the postgame is that you mentioned it, but it's the same exact story. 1 week ago, everyone was gathered in Norman. Oklahoma jumps out to a 28-0 lead and has to hold on for dear life. In that game, Braden Willis fumbled a ball going in that would have made it help build a 35-0 lead. Today, it was a Braden Willis drop on that fake field goal that you talked about that would have been prime real estate at the worst. I'm not sure if he would have scored on it, but prime real estate to go up 21-0. You guys mentioned it, 24-6 with 6.5 minutes left until the half. And then Texas Tech reels off 4 straight drives spanning the end of the second quarter, start of the third quarter with points to make it 24-23 Sooners at halftime. And then they came out and took a 30-24 lead almost immediately after a stop defensively and then a quick score. Oklahoma's offense sputtered, can't run the ball on third and short again until they could suddenly again in the fourth quarter. Same old story from every side of the football.
Yeah, and here we go again. Anti-complimentary football strikes again for Oklahoma. Defense had that really encouraging game last week against Oklahoma State. Giant step back again tonight. And the offense found it for most of the night. There were some questionable things here and there, but for the most part, tons of yards, 48 points. Defense couldn't stop anything in this game. We've got to start, offense, defense there. Defensively, I mean, all the good vibes and the positivity coming out of that Bedlam game are totally gone. Texas Tech do what they wanted in this game. Shrodrick Thompson, good Lord. And they're going to see him in their nightmares. He was absolutely a beast in this game.
Texas Tech, I'm on the wrong page here. I was going to say Oklahoma had 760 yards of offense. Texas Tech had, I'm adding it up. See, this is how fresh this is. 163 rushing and 436 passing. So about 600 yards total offense for Texas Tech as well. It was a battle. It was a fist fight. It was a mud-slinging affair. It was just... It wasn't even. At times it didn't even look like football, because you'd have a first down hit, a big crushing, bone crunching tackle, and somebody'd be standing over, and the next play would be a 77-yard touchdown the other way. Like, these guys are. Neither one of these teams is good. Neither one of these teams is consistent. And what we saw tonight was the epitome of both teams' season.
I think you missed the mark. It was a pillow fight, Hoove. It was a pillow fight. There was no defense being played. Even the big hits and teeth-rattling stuff, that was all posturing for one play. And then, like you mentioned, it'd be 10 plays of fundamentally just throw that out the window. Then you flip over to the offense. And for as well as they played, Dylan Gabriel had, 6 touchdowns through the air, over 700 yards. You mentioned it. There were moments where, whether it be Dylan Gabriel taking the shot or Jeff Lebby, it's Eric Gray running down to the field to about the plus 40, and then Dylan Gabriel's taken 3 deep shots in a row, and the drive stalls. So all of that situational football, inability to just sustain drives, everything reared its ugly head again. And still, the offense put 48 points on the board. They left a ton on the field against a really bad Texas Tech defense. Just inexcusable from both sides of the football. And again, plays here, plays there. All that adds up to 4 brutal losses between K-State, Baylor, West Virginia, and Texas Tech that Oklahoma will look back, and I bet Brent Venables will watch all offseason long, try to figure out how it went wrong every single time.
Yeah, the thing that stands out to me is the end of the second quarter, the middle of the second quarter to the end, when Oklahoma had 4 possessions. 3 were 3-and-outs, 1 with an interception on third down. The other one was a 77-yard touchdown. Meanwhile, Texas Tech's going 75 yards. They got an interception, turned that into a quick score, and then they got a field goal that they went 75 yards for the field goal at the end, right at halftime on this field goal, on this goalpost. And then on this goalpost back here, I got to ask you guys, what was your perspective on the field goal? All we're hearing, okay, so we get out of the game. We get out of the press box. We're down on the field. We go to the interview room. We wait for Brent Venables. He comes out and he says, I thought it was good, but I was at a bad angle. I was sitting in this end zone here. It didn't look good from where I was sitting, and then they showed it on the big board behind me. It didn't look good on the big board. But all I keep hearing is the field goal was good on TV.
Yeah, I was standing...
I was in the end zone. I couldn't see it.
Yeah, Josh was right under the goalpost. I was probably 20 feet farther away from the goalpost, and when I looked up, I'm the worst at judging those, but I mean, the crowd reaction right behind us, it wasn't the crowd waited to see what the official said. It was an immediate, he missed it from that half of the stadium, which it was not the most sober of crowds, but I think that the Texas Tech fans can tell that.
All that did was if he makes that kick right down the middle, it just prolongs it, and they probably get the I don't know. They go for the touchdown in the overtime, or they go to a second overtime and score another touchdown. That's what this Oklahoma defense was in for tonight.
Guys, Jeff Levy led off overtime with a trick play that got Dylan Gabriel absolutely murdered. Does anyone have any faith that if this had extended to a second or third overtime period, Oklahoma's win this game? They weren't winning this game.
Nope.
No, the field goal went in. Texas Tech would have scored a touchdown and won the game. I'm pretty convinced of that. They played it conservatively because they were comfortable with the field goal, and they made their game-winning field goal to win the game. So now you look ahead. I mean, the season is mercifully over for all involved. Everybody wants the season to be over.
Yep.
We do, fans do, the players do.
I get the feeling the coaches do.
Coaches do. Everybody's ready to call it.
I got some tone from Brent Venables in there that he was going to start looking at the future, start making some decisions.
Gonna have to, and they end the season 6-6. The biggest spin zone you can do with this season is that last year they easily could have lost 2 or 3 more. This year they very easily could have won 2 or 3 more. That is true, but there's so many issues. There's so many issues that it to me, it's not on any one guy. It's not on any one player. It's the whole team has got a lot of work to do in the offseason. Put the season in memoriam here, 6-6, and I mean a disaster season.
Yeah, Brent's first year as a head coach, and it absolutely showed. He made some rookie mistakes. He made some unfortunate, right here about where we're standing, actually, right on this hash mark. He made a judgment call to call timeout on the field goal to end the game, to send it to overtime. That was blocked, and he called timeout to ice the kicker. Those things, I don't know why coaches do those things. I asked him about it in the press conference, and he said, yeah, you're just trying to ice the kicker. They're giving some more time to think about it. That's not what kickers want, more time to think about it. And they certainly want 2 tries. So that just blew up in their face. It's just been that kind of season for Oklahoma, I think.
Yeah, the only, if you want to take a positive, the consistent thing we've heard all year long, leadership, all that stuff. Well, a lot of your leaders can be graduating out. I think everyone expects portal carnage, stuff like that. And talking to Eric Gray after the game, trying to figure out, hey, why does the offense go into these dry spells? His response was, need to stick together, more leadership, better leadership on the sideline. And I think that's pretty telling from what a departure from what Braden Willis and Dylan Gabriel and guys like that said, but they always want to put a bow on it. So I don't think there's anything great you can take from this year. And it was the hard reset that many Oklahoma fans talked about from Lincoln Riley to Brent Venables. I think it went a little bit differently than maybe Oklahoma fans had hoped or envisioned on the same night that Caleb Williams was throwing up Heisman poses and running it up on Notre Dame.
It's been Spencer Rattler beat Clemson today as well.
Right. Marvin Mims is coming back for the bowl. Braden Willis coming back for the bowl. Dylan Gabriel, non-committal. Nobody else was committing to the bowl game tonight. Something I dug up real quick in my pregame research for this game. 24 players signed in the 2018 recruiting class. They were coming off the ability to win, the possibility of winning a national championship in 2017. Came up short. Signed with Oklahoma in 2018. There are 5 players left on this team, on this roster from that class. Can't have that kind of attrition. Some of those guys went to the NFL last year, but can't have that much attrition in a class and expect to not finish 6-6.
Yeah, I mean, the Athletic before the season, remember, did their season predictions, and Oklahoma was picked to go 7-5, and the fan base absolutely hammered the Athletic for that, and they did worse. I mean, I can't put in context how poor the season was. It really was as bad as anybody thought it could have been. Nobody thought they were going to be this bad. Nope, not even the people who didn't think Oklahoma would be good thought they'd be this bad. 6-6. A lot of question marks going into the bowl prep. They did make it to bowl prep, so they do have another game. Like who said, Braden Wilson, Marvin Mims both made a point to say they are going to play in the bowl. We'll find out, obviously, I think probably very soon on a lot of other guys in the weeks ahead, and we'll figure out where they're headed and all that good stuff. But we'll have that to look forward to coming up, of course. Again, I recommend you tune into the post-game podcast because we need more time to flush out. There's a lot to take away from this game. Tech fans were mean in this game, by the way, and I'm going to talk about that in the post-game show as well. It was nasty in here. Oklahoma loses 51-48 in overtime in what might be their final trip to Lubbock, Texas. AllSooners.com, the place to be. Tons of reaction there from Brent Venables, coaches, players. Again, it seems like a kiss-up move. Good on them again for doing post-game. I really thought after this one we wouldn't get anybody other than Brent Venables. Didn't happen again. Everybody got out there and answered their questions, so shout out to them for doing that.
Sort of answer questions.
Sort of.
Go watch Dylan Gabriel's post.
You're not a happy camper. What would you expect, I guess? Yeah. But it's all there for you. AllSooners.com. Check out what everybody had to say about this game. Of course, post-game stories from these guys, game highlights, and again, the post-game podcast where we're going to dive into all of it and put the season, wrap it up in memoriam at the end of the year here. As Oklahoma falls, they go to 6-6. That's it for now. We'll see you, I don't know, Norman, Orlando,
Phoenix. Not Orlando.
Not Orlando. You're right. They out of
Phoenix,
that. Memphis. I don't know where we're going to be, but we'll catch you wherever it is. We'll catch you then. So that's it for now. For Ryan Chapman and John Hoover, I'm Josh Callaway.